So today discusses about the frictional numericals problem. There is a frictional numericals problem. Right, it's a block diagram. Is a falling is a downward directions, and the surface plane is the inclined surface plane. Is a rough inclined surface planes. That means that creates a frictional force, and there's an angle between inclined plane and horizontal plane. There's a theta. There's a value of theta is a 45 degree. So find out this numericals problem. The coefficient of friction. There's a mu. What is the coefficient of frictions? The coefficient of friction is the frictions act between as a block diagram surface plane and inclined planes. This act is a friction, and how much that the friction act is the coefficient of friction, find out. And this a block diagram is a string, is inclined plane. There is a act is a tensional force. Obviously there is a act is a tensile force. So how to solve this problem? First we draw is a free body diagram. How can draw the free body diagram? Actually, what is a free body diagram? The free body diagram, this is a skeleton structure. This is a skeleton structure. This is a skeleton structure of the how many types of force in this particular object. That is a skeleton structure called as a free body diagram. There is a skeleton structure, that is a body as an inclined plane as a falling is downward direction. That means when as a body is a falling is downward direction, that means where is a frictional force, the opposite of the moving force. That means where is a force is a moving force is the downward direction, the frictional force act is the opposite direction. There is a F. Clear concept? What is the F? F is a frictional force. There is a act on the opposite of the moving force. And then another is a force act reaction force, because there is a weight of the body particulars. That when is the body acting is a weighting force, that is a reaction force always opposite sign. There is a reaction force, and we know that this is a weight of the positive force. There is this downward directions, but we know that the weight force and reaction force same line. So we can know that the order this the value of the angle is a theta. That means when is a component create this angle between with the theta, that means this component is a two component generated. One is a vertical component and another is a horizontal component. There's a vertical component is the angle between theta, that means w cos theta, and there is a horizontal component, this is a w sin theta. We know that is a two component created. Another is a tension force. This tension force act is the body, that means center of the mass, and there is a act is a total angle is a 90 degree, that means the half angle is a 45 degree. And is a tension force is a act another again two component, one component vertical, another component is a horizontal. And the vertical component is a t cos alpha, and another is a horizontal component t sin alpha. So we know that that is a reaction force w cos theta and t cos alpha. Three type of force act is a vertical directions, and frictional force, tension t sin alpha, and w cos sin theta. Three type of force act is a horizontal plane. Now find out this the value of the mu. So how to find out the value of mu? We know that F equal to mu into R. There's a F is a frictional force, mu is a coefficient of friction, R is a normal reaction force. But we know only the value of the R and F. But in these equations, never given the value of the R and F. So firstly find out the value of R, second find out the value of the frictional force, then find out the value of the mu. So consider that there is a reaction force act in the vertical directions. That means firstly consider that all vertical force equal to 0, because firstly find out the value of the R, because when is a find out the value of R, then find out the value of the F. Clear? So first summation of the all vertical force 0, and then as a vertical force, three vertical force act in this body. It is a reaction force w cos theta and t cos alpha. So now we consider that all type of the upward direction force, there is a positive sign. That means we consider that all upward direction positive and downward direction is a negative. So there is a R is a upward directions, this call is a positive sign, and that is a negative sign w cos theta and t cos alpha, because there is a act is downward direction, the sign of the negative sign. Now solve these equations. R equal to w cos theta plus t cos alpha, because there is a sign change because crossing the equal to, and that's R equal to value put in, and w this value is a 50 newtons and t value is a 5 newtons. They put this value 15 cos and 5 cos, and there's a theta 45 degree and alpha 45 degree. This is a alpha value 45 degree, and that is a theta value 45 degree. Now put this value and calculate 10.6 plus 3.5 and R equal to 14.1 newtons. So find out this value. R is a reaction force, act is the upward directions. Reaction force at upward directions, there is a 14.1 newtons. Again we find out the value of the horizontal force. Because we find out the value of the F, we put these two value and find out this mu. So secondly, there is a three type of horizontal force act. One is a F T sin alpha, what is a F T sin alpha and W sin theta. Now consider this all horizontal force equal to 0, and that is a consider that all right hand force is a positive and left hand force negative. So now this is right hand force 2, F and T sin alpha, the sign is a positive, and the left hand force is a negative sign, there is a W sin theta. We consider there is a W sin theta, then crossing the over, there is a positive sign. Okay, and now solve this equations. F equal to W sin theta, and this crossover, there is a minus T sin alpha, and now this is a value putting, and W is a 15 and theta is a 45 degree and alpha is a 45 degree and T is a 5, and let's put the value, solution, solve the equations, and this is 7.1 Newton force. This is a force. F equal to is a frictional force, that is, this is a frictional force. So if I know the frictional force, that is a reaction force. Now put to force, put this value. We know that frictional force equal to mu into R, and there is a mu equal to F by R. So now if value of the F is a 7.1 and the value of the R is a 14.1, and then solve the equations, 0.5. The coefficient of friction, because there is a 0.5. So what is the value of the coefficient friction? 0.5. That is the first numerical problem, is a friction chapters.